In the previous video, we drew this pencil sharpener in different angles. In this video, we want to shade it. I use 3B and 4B graphite pencils for shading this drawing. The first part I want to shade is the circular hole that the pencil enters for sharpening. And we must note that this part should be darker than the other parts. The reason is that we have a depression here, and in shading the depressions are always darker than the other parts. The deeper the depression is, the darker it appears because less light reaches it. In order to improve your drawing, I suggest you work from real life. For example, I put this pencil sharpener in front of me and try to draw it by examining the structure and drawing some cubes as a guide. You can watch this tutorial in my latest video posted on my channel. For shading, put an object in front of you, pay attention to the light source and how the light affects your object. So pay attention to the light and shadow and discover the darkness and the light in real life. The first examples you draw may not turn out well, but this is completely normal. By practicing and working from real life instead of references, you can improve your skills. Make sure the tip of your pencil is sharp for shading. The method of shading is that you should not press your pencil at all and work only in one direction. By saying in one direction, I mean do not shade in a back and forth movement because shading back and forth will smash the texture of your paper and the result may not be what you want. Instead, to make a part darker, do the shading in several times. So instead of pressing the pencil, increase the shading layers and put a slight layer of graphite on your drawing at each stage. Now here I have a circle in perspective, which because of that the circle is shaped as an oval. So pay attention to my hand and the way I shade. In order to show the roundness of the circle here with shadows and creating texture at the same time, the strokes I create are not completely straight and I'm moving my pencil in a circular or curved motion. So just like what I'm doing, you need to consider this oval shape in shading. I am creating a series of lines which are pointy and thin in each end, but in a circular direction of the oval I have, so do not draw straight lines. I'm not going to make the oval totally dark because some parts of it need to be lighter. You can see that I darkened both sides on the corners and darkened an area in the middle. Between these areas we have lighter parts. Because the side part of the blade on the top plane has an empty part from where the light enters this hole. And that's why some parts of the circle becomes brighter. Those highlighted areas in the oval are important to be aligned with the empty space next to the blade. These are small things that you may think are not important to follow, but when your work is finished and people look at your drawing, they will completely comprehend that you followed some principles and you know how the light behaves. They may not notice the details and the points that you've observed, but it is absolutely certain to their eyes that the whole work is closer to the real example. You can use a blending stump in some parts, but don't depend on it for the whole shading process. We can only use it in some parts to fade and blend some of the strokes, but we can draw the texture of the sharpener without it. The only points you should follow when using the blending stump is not to press it on the paper and try not to move in a back and forth way again. In order to separate this oval from its surroundings, as you can see in the video, you can leave a narrow white ring around it. So don't shade that area and leave this edges white so that it doesn't look flat. Now I'm going to shade the rest of the object. To shade this part, I darken the bottom of the oval, and as I move to the right, I try to feather out my strokes to give it a gradation, and I gradually go from dark to light. As you can see, in order to make each part darker, I change the direction of my strokes. So first, I make a series of vertical lines And then to fill the empty spaces, I make some slanted and horizontal strokes. Just keep it in mind that if you use the blending stump on the dark parts, then use it on the lighter parts after that, because it gets stained and it might cause some blemishes on the drawing and you have to use a kneaded eraser and shade those parts again to fix it. And it makes the work inconsistent and incoherent. The shading process of this part is exactly the same as the previous part. So I drew some vertical lines and then I drew some horizontal and slanted lines. In these edges and corners, change the direction of your strokes because here the shape of the pencil sharpener changes a little and becomes round and curved, just like what we did for the oval. In the previous video, I explained that the edges are not completely sharp, so your lines should also. So instead of straight lines, draw slightly curved strokes for the curved spots. On the side of the pencil sharpener, we have some lines. Some parts are concave and some are convex, which we have to show it with darkness and lightness in order to show this part with shading. So we can darken those concave parts, and for those convex parts we can shade in less layers so that they actually appear brighter as a result. Just keep that in mind to add gradation for each of these columns and leave an empty narrow area on the end of each column where two lines meet on the edge. I used different pencils during the video. Now I want to shade a section with an HB pencil. What I want to say is that you can shade with an HB pencil. So even if you only have one HB pencil, you can shade your drawing with that. For this drawing, I recommend using a pencil range from HB to 6B graphite pencils. It's better not to use pencils with higher grades like 8B because it has a different texture that we don't need here. I give the blade a soft and even layer of shading because it is a metal texture. So we don't need to make it too dark because metals are generally shiny. Only the corners are a little darker in the places where I'm shading now, but overall the contrast is not so high. The method of shading the screw on the sharpener is exactly the same as shading all the other parts. The only difference is that here we have a large difference in brightness and darkness, which means we have a high contrast in the screw. These concave parts should be very dark, and those parts that have received more light should be almost empty or at least have a slight layer of shadow. Here again, let's put a slight distance like a highlighted line between the two planes. And then I want to shade the top plane. So leave a white strip or a thin line between them so that the drawing doesn't look flat. I wanted to show almost all the shading steps in a short video. But all these steps need to be repeated several more times and our drawing should be darker. My drawing took me at least 2 hours or maybe more to be completed. So the number of shading times is definitely more than this, but I didn't want this video to be too long and boring. So take your time and put more layers to have a better contrast. And don't rush to get the result and try to shade each part patiently in different layers. For this part of the pencil sharpener, where the screw is placed, we can use bolder and more specific strokes with a sharp tip of the pencil because it helps to draw the metal texture of the screw better. But the rest of the parts should be kind of polished and our lines should not be too bold and too dark. Because the texture of the pencil sharpener's body is softer with less contrast. For this reason, you can use your blending tool in other parts, but it is better not to blend the screw, so use sharper strokes for this part. The upper plane of the pencil sharpener has some small circles that have a slight concave shape. So to draw this texture, I could leave these parts empty when I'm shading, but it would take a lot of time. So I prefer to apply a base layer of shadow slightly as I did already and then create these circles later with a kneaded eraser. Now I want to double check my drawing to darken the other parts again. As I said, this circle and also the screw on the blade need to be darker than the other parts. But the rest of the drawing mostly is in a mid-tone range. Of course, the corners of the object are still shaded in darker values. The next and final step is to make the drawing darker and emphasize the dark shadows to increase the contrast of the work. If you're still here, thanks for watching, and if you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like my contents, consider subscribing to my channel. Bye now!